Hello, everyone, and what a hype. I love this. So let me see some ones on the chat to be sure that everything is working fine. Starting with my audio, let's see if Hermes can take the hit. I'll give the chat a few seconds. I've seen a lot of hype. Thanks, everyone, for being on the call. We are very excited with this one. I'm going to tell you why in just a second. All right, I see a lot of ones. Shout out to all of the Gs, the new students, the OGs, the captains and professors. We are all being very attentive to what's going on, right? And Hermes is just another tool that is going to blow your mind out. Now, I'm going to show you what Hermes is all about, but first you have to get acquainted. I'm going to explain as in the masterclass what Hermes is all about. I'm going also to talk a little bit about Claude and the famous OpenClaw and why we're using Hermes right now. And then at the end, I'll open up, well, before the questions, I'll show you a real example, and then I'll open up the mic for some questions. Well, the chat's not the mic. I'll be here reading some questions and answering them for a few minutes. So first of all, let me now switch my screen so you can see it, right? This is Hermes. And with great timing, Hermes launched the desktop app, which is this one. It still looks a bit raw, that's normal, but simple, we like it. The desktop app for Hermes was released about, I don't know, maybe 1 week or less, right? With great timing, because I was planning to show you the power of Hermes with the CLI, with the terminal. You guys know that the terminal is powerful. I've been showing you some examples with Claude or OpenAI. The CLI is powerful, but now they launched the desktop app, and I was like, that's amazing because my students are going to love it. Why? Because it's so much simpler to use. Let me open up. Now that you see the agent, this is Hermes. It's not a big monster. For the contrary, it looks very simple, but what it can do is going to blow your mind, right? Now, let's just go through a few slides so I can talk with you about this Hermes application. And by the way, let me just have TRW open just in case there's something important here on the chat. So the first note is Hermes is from a company or brand named New Research. So when you download Hermes, go and find the New Research Hermes website, because there are some clones, some other websites, and you know that unfortunately we have people with bad intentions. So there are some websites, some duplicated websites, whatever, out there that might lead you into confusion, might not be the official website. You can double check with GitHub and check with us here on the chat. We'll share some links, of course. But make sure that you download, first of all, the Hermes desktop app from the New Research, right? And not the brand, goddammit, not the .com. Don't go to the .com site and then ask, where's the app? All right, moving on. This is an agent that grows with you. This is the big title, right? And so we are going to start with what is this app, this Hermes, and the main key differences between the other tools we have available. I'll quickly explain the setup, the tools we can use, how it works and how it thinks. I'll show you some cases, and then I'll show you an example. The reason why we are going to set up all of this is because the setup itself, I mean, it's just easy, follow the instructions on screen, and then it will take maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes. It will download a lot of packages and stuff. So it wouldn't be practical to show you this on screen because I want to show you the real sauce, not installing apps, right? What is Hermes? First off, these 4 main topics I consider the most important to explain what Hermes is all about. Comparing to other tools, you might be thinking about Claude, OpenAI, or even OpenClaw, whatever other tool you might have in mind, if you have any, right? It's a self-improving type of agent. It has memory, and it works in a closed loop, and these make it very powerful and easy to use because it learns from itself with experience, right? So you have your session, you chat, let me rephrase this. You have a profile where you can have many sessions, and as you grow, the agent will learn with its own experience, with what you say, with your feedback, and based on its own experience, what works, what is not working, the best way of finding specific things, it will learn. So after a few sessions, you'll find it that it's more efficient, basically. Now, Hermes should be seen as the operator, as opposing to Claude, for example, OpenAI or DeepSeek, any other, right? Those are models, those brands created tools around it. It's standard in the world of AI. We now talk about prompting, we talk about tools, using MCP, for example. We've been talking about this a lot. What this gives is tools to these AI agents. Now, it's easy for the AI agents to take action, right? They can read your GitHub account and have access to your GitHub account and manage your repos, your code, and check your code and download and update and update your issues and projects in GitHub. You can include access to a database like Superbase we love so much. So the agent, the AI agent, has full access to your database. It can create anything it needs. And the list goes on. The list of MCP tools are just immense. So it makes sense for a creator, someone that is working with AI, to think, how can I expedite my work and make this more efficient? How can I give my agents some memory? For example, we have MemPalace, a GitHub repo that will help your agents to have a better memory, right? But you don't need now to install MemPalace and use Claude Code, because we already have tools that have the same functionality. Hermes is one of them, is the one we love, right? You can still use Claude, and it's also true, we can build a similar app, we can schedule our tasks, we can do our research, web research, etc. with Claude Code, but it's more complicated, right? You can create your own system, and the rule of thumb will be always use the tool that will help you reach your goal faster and the one you love the most. And we believe that Hermes is here to stay. It's going to be a mark point in the evolution, the same way OpenClaw was. We saw with OpenClaw, the guy was hired by OpenAI, right? Boom. It was a great idea. We'll get there in a second. But my point is, these great tools that appear from the need, so the need creates the tool, because they work and they are so useful, it's normal to see other brands to implement the same things. So I'll be not surprised at all. I'm actually expecting it to have Anthropic and OpenAI and all of the other major brands to create similar functionality, right? But right now, what we have is Hermes. Maybe in a few weeks or months, it's another app, not Hermes. It's a better version of Hermes with another name. We don't know. Right now, we have Hermes, which is the operator. See it as a virtual assistant. See it as a virtual person you can talk to and delegate tasks. It's literally having a team. If before having an AI system or talking to an AI would feel like hiring someone virtually to do some kind of job, well, now with Hermes, it's more evident. You still can use Claude and other tasks as the builders, right? I still find, for example, for coding, for websites and more advanced stuff, I still use Cursor and Claude and all of that, right? But if I have to do, for example, some market research on a niche, specific industry, or in a business, or if I want to automate a new lead finder machine and outreach and create emails on the spot, without having to go back and create those systems, the architecture and the structure in Claude or any other app to make that happen, which is possible again, but our main win here is all about time. We are winning a lot of time. So resources is not only about money, because yeah, you can do it, you can create your own tool, but why are you reinventing the wheel if the wheel is so good already, right? So in terms of Hermes, we can run easily the cron jobs in the background. We can schedule things. It has access to an immense set of tools, web search, and other skills as well. which are immense. I'm going to show you that as well. And then you can talk to it using the desktop interface, which is the one I'm going to show you. But of course, it's handy if you can talk to it from anywhere. So you can connect your favorite tool. We can say maybe it's Telegram or Discord or Slack, any other, or even email. You can talk to this agent using a text platform that already exists, which means you don't have to create your own chatbot. You can use existing platforms to talk with this agent. Now, if you are, for example, in Telegram with your client and you have your Hermes agent in it, well, of course, your client can talk to that agent as well if you want to. In the very ultimate case, which I haven't tried, so I'll have to rephrase this very carefully. It's possible to use this in a chatbot. Why not? You can connect any channel to chat with text. So if you have a chatbot that has an API or webhooks, whatever, or WebSockets, you can create the connection for that specific system, the chatbot, to talk with Hermes. Done. Now it's up to you to refine and to create those guardrails, etc. But it's possible, right? With Cloud Code, yeah, still do your big apps, CRMs, the complicated stuff you want to do, or if you like to chat, ask random questions to OpenAI or Gemini, yeah, still use it, right? But Hermes, as the operator, the one agent that you can delegate stuff and get things done, and it will reply to you when those tasks are ready, especially for finding leads, for example, or creating emails. I just find this amazing. And as I mentioned earlier, why not OpenClaw? OpenClaw was very hot, let's say. It was new, it was raw, and it was launched with a bunch of flaws, because when we innovate, we create something new, there are lots of things we are not aware of, so it's kind of expected. But in the first few days after being launched, or weeks, dozens or hundreds of security issues were found and fixed. And that's why at the time when we tested it, because we are always aware, geez, we keep our eyes constantly on the market, on the internet itself. We see what's happening out there. We try, we test, we talk with each other backstage, and then we decide whenever a tool is good enough for you or not. You are our audience, our students. We want you to have the best experience and also to stay safe. Because imagine that we, at the time, we saw OpenClaw, and then we tell everyone, let's use OpenClaw. And then 2 weeks after, everyone is complaining that APIs were stolen, the system was down, whatever, it's not working, I'm compromised. Bro, that's not the safe way of doing things, right? Now, with Hermes, now with all of these lessons learned, Hermes is stable and it's quite safe. There are still some security things we have to consider. But back to OpenClaw, the architecture, the memory, and the tools and the way it was used, it was not the safest way. Now with Hermes, we are confident enough to present you, you get acquainted, now you start exploring, and it's going to be your buddy from now on, right? Now, moving to the next one. When you install the app, just follow the steps on screen. It takes some time to install all of the packages. I have installed this one in my local computer because I know what I'm doing and I'm not getting crazy outside of my comfort zone, right? If I want to go crazy outside of my comfort zone or create a specific agent for a client, for example, I would create a virtual machine. I will install this agent in a contained workspace or location. Imagine that I have my agent in my computer, so it has access to all of my files, and then I have a chatbot, and for some reason, the agent decides to go and check for bank statements, right? That's against all security measures, right? It's not a good thing. So you have to be careful on how you use it. If you're using for your personal use, for your business, you want to find leads, you want to create emails, to do market research, to create some prototypes, well, you'll be safe enough using it in your local computer. And it's fast, it's handy, it's there, it's your workstation, and this is your assistant, right? Now, the same way, if you have a team member, you're not going to give all the personal details to that team member to go to somewhere else, to another brand, and then leak those details to a stranger, right? That's the same thing. As long as you are aware and conscious about what you're doing, you'll be safe. If you want to get outside of the comfort zone and go crazy and try new things, you're not sure about its safety. So in that case, create a virtual machine. You can create a virtual machine in your computer, right? You don't have to hire different system or a cloud. But if you want to have access from the outside world, yeah, it makes sense. So just keep this in mind. You can go ahead and install locally this app. It'll take about 50 minutes and follow the steps on screen, and you'll be safe if you have if you stay within the normal safety measures, right? That's what I mean. And then you'll quickly be prompted to start your first session, your first task, which is just a chat. So as you can see, we have here new sessions. I can create new sessions. I can type here at the bottom and type anything. So it's very easy to use. Now, one very good thing about Hermes that we don't have with Claude, for example, is that you can create a profile. Let's say that you want to work on a client. The client has a SaaS business. Then you have another client, and that client has an e-com type of business. Then you have your own agency and a personal brand, right? And for each one of these, you have a specific N8N. You have a specific Google Cloud or Gmail account. Imagine that you are working in your own agency. You have your Gmail account connected, your N8N, but now you want to work on client B. If you are on Claude, for example, you have to go ahead and select the skills you want to use, select all of the connectors and the tools. It takes some time. Maybe you have to authenticate again to Supabase and to N8N and whatnot, so that finally you can work on client B. And then you have to switch back to your own agency. So it's a bit tedious. It's possible, but it takes time. And we know, we talked about this, one of the best resources we have, if not the most important of them all, is time. So with Hermes, I can simply here click on new profile, and I do test profile, and I create it. Now, we can clone from default all of the skills that we already have activated in the tools and stuff, or you can just create your own, but why not? Let's just import all of them, and then we can deselect the ones we don't need eventually. And then we have the Soul MD. The Soul MD is a Markdown file. It's .md. And this one will specify what this agent is all about. Is the set of instructions. You can see it as the main prompt of the agent or the system prompt, right? But when we talk about these agents, the same happens with Claude, with OpenAI. When you use the CLI, they usually create a file. With OpenAI, it's called agents.md, and Gemini as well. With Claude, it's a file called claude.md, and that file will have all of the specifics, the behavior, and the system prompts for that agent. So every time you start a new chat, this agent is going to read this Markdown file. In Hermes, they just call it soul.md, but it's the same thing. So you can be specific. For example, here, I'll work on my client. You specify the client name, the website name. For all of these sessions, we are going to use this specific GitHub and N8N, whatever. And then you can also activate those with skills, but you can also share the direction of the credentials. And I'm going to show you that in the second. A second there. So because this is installed locally, all of these files are saved locally, and you can specify also the working folder. So for example, let me see if I can bring this down to the screen. Yeah. So I have here this folder specifically created for Hermes. So any files the agent is going to create are going to be inside of this one. And the agent will have will be free to create all of these folders here. Let me just double check this one. Blends. Well, this one is empty, and there's a location within the user's app, the app roaming folder. Well, it's a hidden folder. You don't necessarily need to know where that file is. But the system is saving the soul.md locally in your computer, right? So everything is saved in your computer. You can even save a .env file. For those who don't know what a .env file is, just a file you create with the credentials. So you don't have to share the credentials on the chat. You have a file with those credentials, for example, an API token. So the agent can call that variable from that file without exposing the value on the chat. So that's the big benefit of using the .env file, which means you can give any APIs to this agent. The agent can have access to your Anyten or any other app, but you also have the skills and the tools that we are going to explore in just a second as well. Back to this point, you can create profiles for specific businesses. Let's say you are managing 3 businesses plus your own agency. You also have a personal brand. So you can separate these by profiles, and each profile is going to be contained within its own profile in terms of context, meaning any information you share with client A, it's not going to be available for client B in the profile of client B, right? If you try to use Claude, well, it's still possible, but it's just more work activating and deactivating tools. Another good thing about Hermes and skills. Skills are, you can see skills as instructions for sub-agents, let's say, of specific behaviors of the agent. The agent has a main prompt, and then you can add another prompt, see it as a skill, for a specific task, right? So this agent has, or Hermes, has the ability of updating and creating new skills when needed, and using sub-agents as well. So the process is streamlined. You don't really have to think about it. So it's something intrinsic to the app. Usually when you're using IDEs like Cursor or Antigravity or Claude, if you want to use sub-agents, you can do, but you have to create those sub-agents. It's not that easy and straightforward. Now with Hermes, they made this easy. So if the agent needs to create 2 different things at the same time that are not directly related, why not having 2 agents working at the same time? So that's possible. And also with the cron jobs, and this is because we are talking about AI, and the advantage is you can talk in plain English. So you don't have to be very technical. You can just tell it, check for more leads or do another market research on this topic every Monday at 9 a.m., for example, and it will automatically create those jobs for you. And also the web and browser control exists already by default inside of Hermes, so you don't have to activate anything. Usually when you use AI on the internet, we have to activate the web search and other tools. So in this case, it's embedded, very easy to use. Some examples, use cases, research and content. You can get Intel, it's very easy because it has the web search. You can do market research, for example, and cron these to run every week or every day. If you want to create content to share on social media, you can create spreadsheets with content. You can have this agent easily running on the background to get the latest news about a specific topic, let's say AI, right? And then because you are an AI agency, you want to share content about what you do. So you can have an agent on a regular basis to fetch the fresh content from the internet, create those articles for you, save them in a spreadsheet, and you can even post them into social media. How? Well, if the tool is not available inside of Hermes, you can still use the API call to connect elements to your Anyten. And inside of your Anyten, you can have the credentials that will allow you to post on your social media. Boom, you just gave a tool to this agent to share on social media, and the agent will do everything. Every day, share 5 posts about this topic. So the agent will find the most trending topics. We'll try to find the ones that are more relevant for your business based on your instructions. It will craft the entire content and post for you if you want. If you also, for example, connect your Anyten into it. That's just amazing, which means you don't have to create the entire Anyten workflow or make.com if you use make.com. And eventually you can use Claude to create those workflows for you. But why not use them all if you have to? Within Hermes, the amount of times you have to leave Hermes to create something else on another platform are getting smaller. And the more tools they add into Hermes, the less times you have to get out of Hermes to do something else on another platform. We talked about content and social as well, research and intel. Just a few examples. Operations, clients, and more advanced stuff. Emails and client management. Why not? If you give it access to your Gmail account, or your email account in general, can be Outlook or any other, you can go through all of your emails. If it's a business email, you can create reports, you can read emails and let you know which ones are the more important. You can auto-reply to some emails or auto-follow-up if you want to. If you have a list of leads and you have to outreach to them, it can check if they replied or not and automatically decide if it's time to send a follow-up or not. So all of these things that you can get automated, and they are still possible using other platforms like Claude and Anything, but now we're just talking to the agents and creating those rules by talking in plain English. You can have this agent creating those automations for you. Invoice tracker, if you have lots of invoices, I don't know, it's the end of the year, you have to get all of the invoices from your business. You can just give access, you can just give the agent access to your email to check for all of the PDFs and all of the attachments of all of the invoices. It will save all of the invoices in a specific folder if needed, go through all of these files, create a spreadsheet, create that summary, and give you a response into your favorite channel, can be on Telegram, on Slack, and give you a summary of that report. This is just amazing. Now, there are other things you can do more advanced. It also includes using tools like image generation and some video. I haven't explored that as much yet, but I know it's possible. I've been doing a lot of research and I've seen some people online and some posts online talking about it, which tells me this is a recent app and they are evolving and updating as we go. So stay sharp as well for the new things we might be able to do with these agents. But most of all, with Hermes, the only thing you really have to do, once again, it's the same logic with any AI system. You just need to know how to ask the right questions, specifically to AI. You just need to have the vision to be able to articulate what you need, then give it feedback based on what you get. So the AI initially is raw. It might not give you the best answer you were expecting or the best result, but then you can adapt. You can just talk in plain English and the agent will self-improve as well based on that experience. For us, students, people, we are here to be financially abundant, independent. Of course, we want everyone to make the first sale for those who haven't made any sales yet. Make money, we need clients. If it's not making money, it doesn't make sense. A business is only a business if you're making money. If you're not making money, it's not a business, it's just an idea. So best case, we want to retain and upsell to our current clients. Of course, we need clients first. We need to close them. To close a client, you have to outreach in any shape or form. And for you to outreach, you also need to prospect. And before prospecting, you might even want to do market research. So all of these steps you can do easily with Hermes. You just need to have this conversation with the agent, and the agent will help you out finding the best ways of achieving that goal. It will take care of the technicalities of it. You don't have to worry about any code. And then you just get those results and you give the agent feedback when needed to improve. And if you like it, if it's working well, just click on repeat, right? Just do it again. So some examples, as I've been talking about, research, content creation for sales, meaning the entire process, not just sales, but lead finder, getting the automated emails, etc. And then why not for clients? It's possible when you have an agency, not necessarily for an entire automation, but you can, if you are some sort of data analyst or a partner to another business, to help them out, which is something I've done before, is just creating a reporting system for them. Some clients can be restaurants or agencies, some tourist guides. They have so much data and so less time to go through the data. They will hire someone to help them out creating these reports. So your job, because you understand about systems and automations and all of that, it's just having access to those platforms. If they have APIs, even better. If not, you just extract the CSV files or spreadsheets, whatever. You compile that entire set of data, and then you can use an AI system to create those reports. Again, just on the side notes, when you're using AI to go through data, if it's private data, be sure that your client is aware of it. If you're using an AI that is hosted on the cloud publicly that you don't own, you're sending docs and private information to that server. So be aware of that. If you really have to go through some private data with AI, you can explore local LLM systems. They might require some powerful systems, but now we have some models that are easier to use. For example, Gemma 4 from Google or Olama. Those are models you can install and run locally on your computer, but you can still use them. And you can also connect, it's a bit advanced, but it's possible to connect these local AI models, the LLMs, to these systems like Hermes. So nothing is stopping you from using AI to analyze these documents, even if private or sensitive, and create these reports, which means solving a problem to your client, which also means making money, right? So it's just a matter of being clever in a way to understand what is that your client needs and how you can use the tools you have available to solve them that problem and charge for it. This is valid for any tool, not just Hermes, but Hermes is just another great tool that will help you achieve that goal. Now, your turn to go build something real. I'm going to guide you now here with Hermes. You can see I have many profiles. I cannot zoom in. It's not possible yet to zoom in. I wish I could, because I know that some of you guys are using maybe mobile phones, so it's not that easy for you to read what's going on my screen. Let me just give a double check here to our chats real quick. Yeah, all good. So do your best. I'm going to read what's going on, again, because I know some of you guys are on mobile. Here on the bottom left, you can create profiles. You click in it to create a new profile. You give it specific instructions on what you are trying to achieve. You can always change this file later, so it's not a big issue. And the agent itself can help you improve this soul.md file. In my specific example, this is a TRW Chewik profile. I was playing around with it here on a few sessions. So again, we have a profile. Within a profile, we can create a new session. And I was talking about it, about the lead finder machine, and the answers are quite long as well. So we can have files. Let me just hide this one. Yeah, it's a preview. No worries. We can have that preview on the side. Not a problem. So the answers are quite long, right? When you scroll down, it's very extensive. That's something that you can specify to your agent to give you shorter answers if you want. But I do like the way it was so detailed creating this approach. So I'm just scrolling up. Okay, it's here. It's pinned at the top. Let's create a system to do market research. We offer websites with CRM if needed. We code everything. We are targeting, for the example, accountants in Ireland. What do you suggest we do here in Hermes Desktop? We can use N8N if needed. We can have tools. Any needed API calls, let's brainstorm. So that's how I started this session with this agent, right? And the conversation went on, and he gave me all the juice. As in any AI brainstorming session, read what the AI is telling you, don't just assume. And then be clear with the feedback you give it and ask clear questions, right? Otherwise, it comes to a point that you don't know what's going on. So, okay. Now we have the setup. I gave it also the Firecall API access. It was quite simple as well. Let me try to get it. So inside of Firecall, I created a free account. You can go there and go to API keys. You copy your API key, and then you set the API key inside of Hermes. The Firecall free account will give you at this point in time 1,000 requests or 1,000 tokens for the free account. So it's quite handy to scrape the internet. On that note, here on skills and tools, it's very simple. You have a gigantic list of skills that the agent has access to. You also have some tool sets, and you can also activate and deactivate at any time. If you go here into the settings, then you have here the providers. In providers, you can connect your accounts. I do have OpenAI connected and Anthropic as well, and also the new research portal. You'll have access to this with the free account, but if you want to have full access to all of the agents, you have to pay a subscription. Because I already have a subscription with Anthropic and OpenAI, I connected my own accounts. But if you have API keys, you can also specify your API keys here. And they have quite a few options. And you can see also they have Olama Cloud, NVIDIA, and other weird models you might not have heard about. Then we have the tools and keys. So Brave Search, if you have an API key, you place it here. It's not free anymore, unfortunately, but you can see here the Firecrawl is activated. I just pasted my API key here, and that's it. Very simple. And any other systems that you want to use that it's available here, you can just paste the API key, for example, 11 Labs, if it helps you. But then if you want to give it a specific MCP access, then you can create the file. If you don't know how to create this file, no worries, use AI, ask the AI how to create this MCP file, and then you can just give it the API calls and the type of app you're using or trying to connect via MCP, and the AI will just give you literally the text you need to paste here, the JSON, right? You can go through some of the safety and memory in context settings, so that's something you can go through once just to specify. I haven't touched on anything, so it's all by default. You don't really have to touch anything. So in terms of settings, it's quite simple. Just set the providers, if you have OpenAI and Anthropic, or use your own API keys, or just stick to the new research portal if you are willing to pay for the subscription. It's up to you. Skills and tools, very simple as well. All of the skills and tools are here. You can activate and deactivate. Artifacts, I'm not going to click. I don't want to show you the files that I have in there for privacy, but it's just a list of files that are generated inside of these sessions. Can be PowerPoint, PDFs, text file, memory files, whatever files the agent will create. Those are saved as artifacts, the same way with Claude when it creates a presentation. Well, actually here, this thing on the right, you can see this is an artifact, right? So what I asked the agent to do was to create a visual artifact so I can understand better the context of this chat, of this session. It's not so easy either to read the Markdown file. Let me get one. So market research, I've done some market research, which I'll show you in a second. Operating system, reports, mini audits, and Markdown file. It's not that friendly, right? So why not asking the agent, hey, show me all of this information in a web page type of visual in an artifact. Boom, done, easy. Also possible with Claude, by the way, right? You should be aware of this, most of you. So back to our session, the agent gave me instructions on how to do, how to proceed, how to use this in the best way. And that's literally what I've done in my most recent session, Irish accountants. So I can go up if I find the sidebar. Yeah, there. First task, starting in an empty folder, which is, in my case, my computer, the /hermes/kw.tweak. That's my main folder for this agent. Create the operating folder structure, prompts, scoring rubric, and CSV templates for the Irish accountant system. This instruction was literally copy-paste from the previous chat I had with the agent, right? It works. And why? Because the agent has access to the context of this profile. He knows what I'm talking about. He remembers what we talked about in our previous session. So with just that simple instruction, it created an entire structure of folders to save all of these files and some templates. Done. That was quite easy. Then I told it to, let me scroll down. Okay, I passed my instruction. Run the first manual test batch of 10 accountant leads. Check that we have Firecrawl if it helps. So Hermes has access to web search functionality, but I also specified, hey, you can use Firecrawl if you want. This one took a few minutes. You can see here about, I think it was about 7 minutes or something. He created a checklist, which means we know at what point the agent is at all of the times. And at the end, we got our results, a list of accountants in Ireland with a scoring. And then from here, create a mini website tear down for those top 2. And the website tear down, this is part of the market research. So for every client, in this case, I just selected 2 for the purpose of the workshop, but you can extend this to 10 or more if you'd like. And for your own specific industry, in your own specific location as well, adapt this as you need for your specific case if you like to try the same thing. So what the agent did was a very extensive market research. It analyzed the leads, websites, and found the weak points and things to improve. And from all of these also suggested, that's why we have the lead score. This one was 75 out of 100. The lead score, which means it's probably someone who will be interested in my services, right? That's the goal. So we have here a clear report with the main issue spotted for this website, why it matters, the CRM client intake opportunity with a bullet point list, recommended improvements on the websites this business already has. So we know exactly what to fix if you want to make a better version. A personalized cold email opener, boom, there. Suggested CTA, done. Recommended next action, high priority. This is a solid outreach candidate because the firm has business maturity, multiple services, 2 offices, and a visible website client intake gap. And basically, the website needs a lot of improvements. So this was the example for one of them. And you can do this for, of course, a bigger sample. Now, think with me for a second. We have this information. We just need to give this information back to AI, and AI will continue the work, right? We can even ask AI to build the website for us. If you want to work with Claude, cool. We have these files in your local computer. You can just create a project with Claude, for example, or within Cursor, your favorite tool, inside of the same folder, or just give it this summary of information, and that agent will create a better version of their website. And boom, the website is done. And then continuing, okay, write the cold emails for these 2 top leads using the tear down evidence, save it locally as well. And that's the other file we have here. The emails ready to review. Don't shoot them blindly, okay? Always read what the AI is giving you and tweak as needed. And also because if you tweak, the agent will learn from it, which is super important. So if I would go now into the chat, hey, I just read the first few emails. Here are a few changes I would like you to do. If you are taking notes as you go through the sales lessons from Seth, which are amazing and very, very powerful, the best ones here, if you're clever enough to take notes and you can take those notes and instruct your agent to use those notes to create better email outreach, well, I don't even know why you're not doing it if you're not, okay? So this is how easy it is for you to use a chat agent, just like any other, but this one comes with a lot more tools and skills and automations included. So you literally can just shoot and forget and then approve the content or give some feedback. And if you want to go crazy, you can create an automation to send emails. I don't recommend. I personally like to approve those emails myself and shoot them or schedule those emails manually instead of letting an AI agent go rogue and start sending 100 emails or more eventually on a daily basis, and then I cannot control the quality, but it's up to you. It's possible. Now, we have the tools. We know how to use them. Back to the topic at the beginning, the only thing you have to really know and pay attention to is how you talk to AI. You have to know the process to understand what you want, be able to communicate clearly that information to your agent, and then iterate based on feedback, based on data. And this agent will help you achieve that goal because it also self-learns and it also creates skills as needed and as you go. Now, it's your turn, G's. The amount of things we can do with Hermes is just enormous. The potential is there. And let me go back to TRW. Yeah, got it. And now let's open up for some Q&As. I'm back on the chat. Now, feel free to shoot some questions. And if you have any ideas on how to use Hermes, I'm sure that you've had plenty of ideas during the workshop call to see how can you best use Hermes. My suggestion, of course, always is to help you guys close your first client. Most of the people here are still trying to chase that first sale, the first client, or making that second sale, right? And this can be very handy. Now with just a few prompts, you can do market research. If you are unsure about an industry, about a location, hey, do you think this industry is good in my location? Now you can just talk to this agent or any other, but this one will give you all of the tools and do the web research. And if you have the Firecrawl API and any other crawl APIs you can find out there, you can use for free, just shoot them and give them to this agent. The agent will use the tools. It will check websites, check blogs and forums, whatever, to give you the best answer. So it's literally your best assistant. It's a business assistant. It's a researcher. It's also a developer if you need. Again, for developing, I'd rather go for Cursor and Anthropics with Claude, but this one can also create these things, right? So let me scroll down. I see a lot of questions here. Hope you guys are excited with Hermes. Woo, lots of messages. I'm still scrolling down. Wait, I'm open TRW again. I see a lot of hype here going on. That's lovely to see, geez. All right, let's keep going, keep going. Even my notifications are crazy. Okay. 701. Chuika screen resolution is very large. Can you zoom in a bit? Yeah, gee, sorry, but that's a limitation of Hermes. We cannot zoom in Hermes or Hermes. Technically, if it's the brand, it should be Hermes. I don't know. All right. This one came a bit earlier, 703 from Pinwatts. Can Hermes replace the N10 lean mean machine finder? You can use it, yeah. So I wouldn't say replace, because you might be missing one of the most important things. The system you have there in our courses is free. You can use it for a certain amount of time in Google Cloud Console with the free credits, and you can use it for free. That's one of the main goals we had in mind, right? If you go into Hermes or any other agents with Claude, yeah, you can create lead finder machines with Claude, with Hermes, and any other agents is super easy, but it still requires you eventually to get an API key or a subscription. So bear in mind that, yes, we have lots of ways of doing the same thing, but up to you to choose which one is the best. Again, resourcefulness, we'll be talking about this a lot, is the ability of finding the best tool for the task at hand. And everyone is unique. Every situation is different. Dean G1991, tweak and advice for migrating an OpenClaw instance. No advice at all. I don't use OpenClaw. Cordino, Chuik, what is the LLM you recommend? Currently, I use DeepSeek V4 Flash. Well, for Hermes, I use OpenAI because it's as good. The API calls are cheaper than Anthropics, and I leave Anthropics and Claude for more complex tasks, literally. So I'm getting there. So I think I lost a few ones. I'm at 712. 712, Hermes agent delete Chewy. Santiago Silva, you're funny, bro. Okay. I don't know what you mean with that. All right, Big Papa Felch. Chewy, what was the website for this again? The link was a bit too small. No worries. Let me get it. Actually, good catch, bro. New research, Hermes agent. I'll share the link here. I'm going to reply so I don't lose track of it, so you guys can use it. Is the new research. It's not any other. Oh, this is 714. I think I missed a few ones. Oh, I need tokens to check my notifications. Wait. Bear images. I'm scrolling up on the chats or down on my notifications. Okay, 708 from Oz. Hi, Chuik. First, thank you for all of the effort put into turning all of this knowledge into lessons. You're most welcome, G. Our pleasure. Are businesses that do most of their operations physically still fit for such an agent? Why not? What type of businesses would you stay away from? Restaurants? Or as long as the business is managing a large volume of data, Hermes Agent is a good tool for them to implement to help them navigate the data and manage it. Yeah, so you as a business owner, you have two options. You can just literally just teach them. You can go the educational way and teach them how to use Hermes, and then they'll figure it out. Or they can give you access to the data, and you, using our own tools, you give them the results they're looking for. They don't have to know if you're using Hermes or Claude or anything. It doesn't really matter unless they specifically ask for it. But even if you tell them you're using Hermes, well, you are still doing the job for them, and it's much easier for you. So 1 hour in Hermes with you will be equivalent to maybe a full day for them, and maybe they don't have the mental space to even think about using Hermes or any other app. Samidinum, Chuik, what would you recommend? Do we buy a different computer in order to use it, or run it locally on your main machine, or do we run it on VM? You don't really need to buy a new computer. Well, if you have a spare laptop at home, whatever, you can create a home server and then you can install it there. If you have just one computer, you can create a VM machine inside of your own computer. You don't really need to be spending money to install Hermes in a contained space. You can even use Docker, but with Docker, you'll be limited to the CLI. So I would say you can create a virtual machine with Windows and then install Hermes in it. Scrolling down, okay. Ooh, lots of chats, I love this. Yusuf, my G, how's it going? Chuik, why use Hermes when we can use Claude? Maybe you explained that before. I was just lost. Well, yeah, I did explain. No worries. So you can for sure do the things you do with Hermes with other tools. Now, Hermes is there and it's very easy to use. So why even considering spending more time and money with other tools like Claude or any other to create something that is going to do what Hermes is doing, right? So the point here at where we are right now in time, there are lots of people using AI to create more AI tools and things that will help us with AI. We are not alone in this, right? And specifically on GitHub, you'll find a lot of repos. Again, be aware of the popularity of the repo. Don't trust just any repo just because it's on GitHub. Not all of them are friendly. But if someone else has gone through the trouble and applied a lot of brain power and money and time to create this app that we can download for free, why not using it? And if I can do something here in 5 minutes, and if that takes me maybe 15 minutes in Claude, why should I use Claude, right? Manage your priorities. F3 dose, so for those, if I get it right. Chuik, G, what's the best way to download Hermes? I just shared the link, G's. I've seen some YouTube videos and they almost use Hostinger. So the question is not how to download. The question is how to host hermes. Based on the workshop, for your own use, for you to do market research, to find leads, outreach and whatnot, feel free to use it locally. Okay. If you want to get outside of that comfort zone, of that safe zone, and do something more crazy, then I would recommend you either use a spare computer or install this in a virtual machine. And that's why these people are using Hostinger. You can use any other type of platform that will allows you to create a virtual machine, but you can also create a virtual machine at home. You can use Cloudflare to tunnel that connection from your network to the outside world. That's a bit too advanced. What I mean is you can create that in your own computer. If it's easier for you, if it's safer to use Hostinger, why not just go for it? Mr. Mohammed. Chuik, can this agent search for leads like the lean mean machine? Yes, I just showed you how to do it. And it creates all of the files locally. Can even create the emails as well. And you don't have to invest your time and brain power in creating workflows because they will just take care of everything. Golden Ticket, OG, how's it going? Chuik, for reselling, I'm currently sell a lot of Claude accounts. Blah. Okay. Is Hermes something you can actually resell to clients too? And if so, is it stable enough to run in production long term? Well, point number one, to do what? That would be my first question. What is do you want the agent to do for your clients? What type of things, right? I discussed this a bit earlier. So it depends on what type of solution you're trying to solve, and depends also on what type of data you'll be handling. If it's private data, sensitive data, client data, invoices, I don't know. Maybe that's something you should be able to consider a private system, a local computer, just to handle this. If it's any other type of automation, if it's related to social media, for example, and outreach, or just managing clients, maybe you can use a local computer or just use a VM machine. I mean, you can definitely use this agent to solve problems and to create things, right? Now, remember what I said initially. This is not as, let me go get it. The Claude agent are the builders, right? And this one is more an operator. But it's an operator that has access to a certain amount of data. So install it in a way that it has access to the right data and not too much data, and not to the data that you don't want the agent to have access to because of security issues. And I can rephrase your question. Can you sell a Claude chat type of system to a client? Well, you can teach your client how to use it. You can use it to solve problems to your client, but you're not selling the tool, right? That's also something we talk about in sales a lot. You're selling the outcome. You're solving a problem. So keep that in mind first. Try to understand what type of problem you're trying to solve, and then see how can Hermes help you solve that problem. Maybe you can package. I would say that you have a few sales under your belt already, right? Hero's journey. There we go. Well done, G. Of course. So you should think about creating some sort of package, some sort of offer that you can sell to that client instead of selling the tool. And that's general advice for business. Next, Kazuki. Chuik, I bought a Mac Mini last 2 months ago. Just install Hermes. Is this still good to use it separately from your personal business computer? And what are your thoughts on having a bunch of Mac Minis doing like sports trading? Yeah, so regarding the Mac Mini, well, that's just another computer. You can use it normally. You can create a home lab, a server at home. That's what I have. I have a mini PC, not Mac. It's running on Linux, but I have a home server with 32 gigabytes of RAM, and I have a bunch of virtual containers and N8Ns in it and virtual machines. So whenever I have the second computer as a server at home. So if you have hermes installed in that computer, it's good, bro, because you're not mixing data, right? You have your personal computer, your personal data, so you're not mixing data. The second part of your question, I'm not going to answer. It's about trading. Up to you, bro. Laurinas Adumavicius. Chuik, why VMs are not just local download? Is it unstable? It's not because it's unstable. Again, it's just about the amount of data the agent will have access to. It's just about privacy. If it's in the virtual machine, it's contained within that world, that virtual machine. It doesn't have access to anything else in your computer. Mr. Diamond, Chuik, so why using Hermes? We don't need instantly for email outreach. You can still use instantly. You can give Hermes a go, and then you let me know, bro. I would say that, well, it depends on your strategy. It depends on how much you want to adapt and change your workflows. Best way, as always, whatever system you have that is working, keep it for now. Try the new system. Try Hermes. See how it works, how it handles, how you handle it, and how easy it is for you to understand how it works and operates and to go around it. And I'm pretty sure that within 1 month, you'll be able to come to a decision and decide whether you'll still be using instantly or not in the future. But instantly, again, don't forget something, because instantly, it's all about warming up those email accounts, right? It's also about using slightly different types of email addresses for the domain you're using. As opposing to Hermes, you'll be using your own Gmail account, for example. But I would say that the best of both worlds, give Hermes access to your instantly account. That would be the best of both worlds, G. Enoch, Chewy, Cloud Code as a developer and Hermes as a secretary. Yeah, you got it, bro. Exactly. So, and by the way, you are a new student here. You are a pawn. Welcome to this campus. I hope you love it, and best success for you. If you need any help, don't hesitate to use those chats. The community is amazing. Support channels are always on fire. And keep digging, bro. Andrews V, Chewy, can we connect Hermes to our N810 account? Yeah, I've done it. Same way, just give it the API, and that's it. That's simple. Same way with Claude. Adino, Chuik, why you use this for CC AI outreach, for example? Would it be able to get emails from YouTube channels, or does it work the best only with LinkedIn? Yeah, it can access YouTube. You can search channels and get transcripts the same way you do, for example, with Gemini, with Google, to get the transcripts and summaries of YouTube videos. So I don't really know what you mean about getting emails from YouTube instead of LinkedIn. But again, with LinkedIn directly, you cannot connect, or it's very difficult for you to be able to connect LinkedIn directly to any automation system. First off, because LinkedIn is against bots. They have a very strict policy against bots. Myself, my account was banned a few years ago because I started using automations like crazy with LinkedIn, and it was flagged, and then it took me about a month to unblock my account. So for LinkedIn and other social media, you most likely use other platforms that already have access to social media within certain limits. So those are the platforms you should be looking for, and those API calls to connect any automation, including with Hermes. I think this answers your questions. Santiago Silva, Chewy, can someone create a Hermes agent with Claude? Yeah, of course. But again, why would you? If someone has already done it, why reinventing the wheel? Bramwell G, Chewy, is it possible to allow Hermes to just make edits on the file automatically so I don't click on yes every time? Yeah. I was never prompted on any changes on Hermes. It was not code files, but yeah, it can just update, read, because all of these files are local. So the agent has full access to those files. It can create and edit and delete files. That's why you should be careful. Even from the screenshot, I can see this is Claude. Right? Yeah, it's Claude. I usually also bypass those permissions, and I give it access, and I allow Claude to just code the updates, because I'm just working on a project or on a specific website, for example. I know exactly what I'm doing. I've created the implementation plan. We thought about it. We had a brainstorm. So there is no point in asking me for permission. I'm like, bro, we just talked about this. Just do it, right? So I give it all of the permissions. It starts coding, and then I go and grab myself a coffee or go for a walk or do something else. Abe Hawani, Chuik, noticed you had OpenAI and Anthropic connected. Yep. Does it use different LLMs for different use cases? You can switch the agent you're using if you want to. Also, what's your preferred LLM? It depends on the task. Or do you have specific LLMs for different use cases? Yep, that's it. I connected my Claude code to my Hermes agent, and because Claude was struggling to use Playwright MCP to do research and use a browser. Is that what using Firecrawl for? I just used Firecrawl because it was the first option that came to mind that is free and we can use with an API token. But yeah, again, we have so many options available, and just find that one option that will help you achieve the task, that goal, right? If Claude is not working because of Playwright, whatever, just try Firecrawl. If Firecrawl, for example, is not working, then use any other tool. Rafi, thanks. You're welcome. Poppy, super Q&A with me and Chuik getting soon. Nice. Can't wait for it, bro. The students are going to get crazy with that Q&A. QNC, Chuik, if we've already made good working automations and SOPs with Cloud Code, is there any benefit to migrating them to Hermes? And if so, how? Well, if there's any benefit, yeah, you've put in the work already, you thought about, you applied a lot of brain power into something, so why not just taking those files and bringing it to your new agent, your new friend with Hermes? How do you do it? That's just knowledge base, where just files, you can upload those files. You can create a folder in that working folder you have, place those files there, and instruct your agent accordingly. Okay, scrolling down. Next, Ramel. Hi, Genji. Chuik, there's a lot of talk about Claude Code replacing N10. Could you explain a bit more on this? Does Claude create workflows for you? So I don't believe it's going to replace. It doesn't make sense, right? Now, Claude has access to N10. You can give it access to N10, which is great. So you don't have to fry all of your brain power trying to build a new workflow when you can have an AI agent do that for you. You just tell it what you want, what you need. You go and check their workflow. It will test the workflow for you as well. And then if you need to create some specific nodes because of the credentials, whatever, you can do it manually as well. But from there to replacing, I don't think so, because you can use Claude as an auditor, a supervisor, a creator, and you can have your N10 workflow working on a scheduled job, for example. Now, replacing the task itself, you can do with code. You can use Claude Code to create some code that you have in the backend running on a scheduled type of cron job to do the same thing instead of N10. Yeah, that's also possible. But again, up to you to decide which one is the best method for you to use and update. There are so many tools available there. Geez. Again, resourcefulness. Find that one tool that you like, that works fine for you, you understand, it's pleasant, and it's giving you the results you want. And at least it's not the most expensive one, and you'll be fine. From Tyke Meisen, the Terminator. Would we be able to install Hermes onto a server like Coolify or Oracle using Hermes, the same way we use VS Cloud Code? VS Code, you mean, VS Code and Cloud, to install anything on these servers. Well, Coolify is there for specific things, right? Hermes, at this point in time, it's very powerful with the CLI. And recently, about a week ago, at this point in time, they launched the desktop app for Windows. In the future, maybe we can have a Coolify instance ready to install with Hermes. Yeah, I see it coming. Would we have the desktop app available for Linux and Mac? Most likely. It's just a matter of time. This is very recent, geez. You can't expect to have everything at the same time. Have some patience. Okay, Esteban Vasquez, VKZ. Chuik, the amount of time that this is going to save to do real work in sales is amazing. Yep, it is. Agreed and subscribe. I really recommend people to also read Secrets of Closing the Sale of Zig Ziglar to help you guys improve the relationship with the clients. Well, that's part of self-development as well, isn't it? Literally, we have the power of having one person medium business here. Thank you since the beginning, bro. So with all the tools that we have available, why is not everyone making money as a sole person business, right? Think about this. What's the one thing missing from this entire puzzle, preventing you from making money? We have all of the tools. We know how to create the offers, do the market research, the prospecting, find those leads, send emails, create the best emails. We have the best professors here to tell you how to write those emails and how to do that outreach. You know how to talk with people, get better at talking with people. You have the offer. You can identify issues and problems in other business. You find solutions. You solve their problems. Then press repeat, make sales. Why are you not doing it? That's the question. What's holding you back? Golden ticket. Oh, gee, thanks for the answer, Chuik. This is very sensitive data, so I look into it further. Maybe Claude isn't the right choice if the use case is highly sensitive. Yeah. If it's very sensitive data, explore Olama and Gemma, for example, or Quen to use locally in your computer. In that case, all of the data processed by AI is on your local computer. So as long as that computer is safe, the data is safe. Sicilian Defense, Chuik, will this be a lesson how to use, etc.? Yeah, the workshops are also uploaded, and then we create lessons based on the workshops as well. Keep an eye also for those who notice that the previous workshops are not there anymore. Check the previous awareness cycles on the same section, and you'll find those lessons. Kuro Rituraj, Chuik, hope you're doing well. Yep, thanks, G. Not Hermes related, but what are your thoughts? On take continue there. Well, not answering if it's not related. That's too later. Okay, lots of hype. Pop in the chat. Love this. Okay. Mark, GD is hosting Hermes on Coolify, the same process. Okay, just talked about this. RG Limitless, Chuik, will there be more lessons on Hermes agents? It depends if you like it. Yeah, of course, G. So if you ever see that something is useful for you guys, of course, we'll do more workshops and lessons if needed. Of course, up to you to learn and implement further, always. We don't fish for you guys. We teach you how to fish. That's the most efficient way. Ace, an X, good question. Chuik, okay, just answered as well. Juan 0830, Chuik, does Hermes grow across profiles? I know a specific profile can be set up in a certain way with specific tools and context, but is it able to learn and work between different profiles? Well, that's the main reason why we have profiles, so that they don't mix up. But you can still mix them up if you want. Files are saved locally. If you give two different profiles access to the same folder, with the same files, then you can share that knowledge base with two different profiles. Why not? Lairunas Aldumavicius. Chuik, could you answer this one, please? I just did. Rudra Vechpara. How to make hyper proactive, doing things yourself, almost like an employee does. Ask for permissions and makes everything better day by day. I think OpenClaw used to do this. I don't really understand your question, bro. All of these higher case and lower case, it's making my OCD brain go crazy. Doing things herself. Why do you think it's a she? Okay, rephrase the question and tag me in the chat later, bro. Bros and dough. I have a client meeting to prepare for, so I'm a head out. All right, you're welcome, G. Best luck for your client meeting. Love that. Okay, I'm going to answer a few more questions and then we'll close it up. Mr. G. Hazel Chuik, this is the first time I have heard of Hermes. What AI inception do you use for information? Well, I used Claude and Hermes itself to help me understand Hermes and explore Hermes and give me examples on how we could benefit our students with Hermes, how I could make more money, how could I use this in my own business? How to do outreach? How to do market research? So AI Inception is all about using AI to help you with AI, right? So it doesn't really matter which one you're using. Sometimes it's handy to use the same AI. For example, if you want to ask specific questions about Google, then use Gemini. If you want to ask specific questions about Anthropics, use Claude, etc. So in this case, if you want to explore more about Hermes, yeah, you'll be using an LLM model like OpenAI, which is one of the most efficient and cheapest API calls you can use. And just ask it questions because it's within Hermes, the entire knowledge base, the agent things, and the architecture of the app is there. So just ask it, hey, what's the best way for me to use AI within AI inside of Hermes to take the most out of it? So this can be an efficient teamwork. For example, yeah, Ben for LinkedIn. Yeah, I was. I am the AI Inception. Yeah, we are all. Bro, if you guys understand this concept of AI Inception, you are so much ahead of most of the people. George M. Chuik, is there a similar functionality on Hermes to Code CLIs, remote control, besides connecting through Telegram? Hermes itself started as a CLI. The plan initially was to give you a workshop masterclass on the CLI on the terminal, which I know it's a bit heavy for most of you because you don't like terminals. You like websites like this one. So it was with good timing that Hermes launched the desktop app, so I could create this masterclass using the desktop app. Now, you can still use the CLI like Cloud Code and use the remote control. Well, you have the chats, the channels, right? The messaging. You can choose anyone, any of those channels, Slack, Telegram, WhatsApp, email, whatever. They keep coming, those questions. All right, I love it, geez. Ferdos, G, what posting platform do you recommend to use for Hermes? What hosting platform? Well, I'm using my own computer, bro. And for this use case, that's what I recommend. You guys should be focusing on making money. Don't get distracted with the shiny object. There are lots of things we can do and invent with Hermes and waste a lot of time just having fun. But we are here to make money, to solve problems, to find leads, to get in touch with them, and to sell your products. If your offer is just creating a website or a CRM system or whatever other type of offer you have, that you can have any other type of automation, right? Use this to take, use this in your best abilities. Find those leads faster and better leads, get in touch with them, and just go for the money. Go for the money, not for the shiny object. RG Limitless, Chuik, will there be more lessons on Hermes agents? Yeah, soon. We are on it. Adams MSI, GM Prof, GMG. AI Nova's here, but can it make more agents for specific tasks on its own? Yep, it can create sub-agents. Chivik, I know you want to laugh from Pop. Yep. I can't help it sometimes with the students. We love them. Top Sniper, Chuvik, with the sauce for Hermes. Looks absolutely crazy and in so many possibilities. Yep. I'm sure you have something in the back of your mind. Let me know, Top Sniper. What are you thinking? Endless, but again, geez, stay focused. Stay on your lane. Focus on the money. Money in. A business is not a business if it's not making money. Big Shot 999. Can you use Docker with Hermes to limit its access? If you use the CLI, you can, but not the desktop, because the desktop app is limited to Windows. So if you're using Docker, well, it's not going to help. But you can still use the CLI, of course. Okay, reaching the end. Laurina's Adumavicius, another question. Chuik, will be there more lessons? Again, yes, geez. If we find the need for speed, we'll show you those lessons, of course. We are always cooking. Yeah, be aware. This campus is going to become the smoke campus. Abe Alvini, did you guys see the Cloud Code guy CEO who said stop prompting? Oh, not related, Joe. Volk 5, AWS S3 buckets run Hermes on their profile with Gemma 4 profile. Nothing should leave the system. Is there a lesson? No, we haven't done any lesson on this. But if that's something, if you like to use the Amazon ecosystem, just go for it and explore. You don't have to stick to one specific system we show you or Google. Sicilian Defense, thank you, Chewik and Pope. You're most welcome, G. Our pleasure. Manex, GBY997. Chewik, can Hermes edit video on CapCut? Honestly, I don't know. And upload on social media. Yeah, most likely. Just give it a try. Right, boys. One last question. And that one is going to be for Mark8257. Forgot to tag Chewik. Okay, let me scroll up. Just because. Do you believe Hermes file patching has or will outcompete agentic coding competitors? I merge Hermes with open code. Well, the way I see it is all of the big brands and platforms, they are all watching each other, right? So whenever one comes up with something new and better, the other one will do the same and find a way to implement the same thing or even better. They're always evolving. This is what competition is about, and it's healthy. And we are the ones that are going to win from all of this. Now we have Hermes. I'm sure that Claude is scratching their head, and Mr. Sam as well. All of these guys now are trying to implement those tools and those things that they can see work fine. And the audience, the public, is loving them. And they want to control the market share. So it's natural that they want to bring the customers into their business. So yeah, let's see how this space will evolve. For now, we love Hermes. It's our favorite agent. It's your assistant. Now, explore Hermes. Do your market research on your industry. Ask feedback about your own website. Ask feedback about the leads website. Find more leads. Write those emails. Teach that agent to write the emails as you like. Go and get them. Go and sell your offers. Go and sell your website to or any other systems you have to your clients. Go make money, solve problems, resell, upsell to your current clients. Keep going, repeat, improve, and geez, have fun in the way. I'm going to terminate this call. And within this world of AI and automation, geez, don't forget, stay human.